this is so we talked about the economy and how stunningly terrible at even discussing it the Republicans are, and it should come as no surprise. And they're going to go their new one is the PPI, the Producer Price Index. That's the raw materials one. Now, this is probably going to be. I'm setting something up. I didn't even see that graphic till I clicked on this. Wait till you hear the title of this friggin' video. Well, I don't want to. I'm hiding it. Hold on. I just don't want to hide it for a second, in case anybody was peeking. The have to roll through this and find the most recent stuff I can. Yeah, here you go. Well, fuck, it's a Bloomberg again. They're gonna fucking fragga. No, that's their channel. I'll get to it in a second. Anyways, what you need to do is that there's a bunch of there's a lot of freak out about the PPI in China, and it's higher than ours. But here we go. Oh, wait, sorry. The audio's off on this.
Reduce their goods than last year. That's a record and the fastest full year increase going all the way back to 2010.
And by the way, the PPI, January over January, let's see what he's getting this. I don't know where their source is, so let me make sure I have that up when we go. This is what he's going to be going on. Now, all right. Nobody was making any fucking thing in 2020. Thank you, Cassia. The wholesale prices jumped nearly, excuse me, 10% in 2021. Another sign of growing inflation. This is record 9.7, right? Year over year. Now, if you'll remember, factories shut down, everything was going, we were culling animals and they were plowing under crops because we had, no one was using them, everyone was staying home. Restaurants, which use a lot of extra food. See, when you sell just to a grocery, people get what they want, and groceries go by, they re-up their stock based on what they, either seasonal trends or what they regularly sell. They know how many eggs they regularly sell in their neighborhood and in their corner of the city or whatever, and then they restock that amount. They fairly consistently stay there. And if they're low on stock, it's because there was a slight run on it, or there was a fucking baking contest in town and they didn't know where all the flour went. But they're not going to adjust over the course of a month to change, right? So the waste from a grocery store versus what a restaurant has to kind of keep cooking, have available, and what they can do with it for a couple of days, the waste offset in the restaurant industry is way far and over the grocery market as far as what they buy when stuff is going out. So they, in terms of restaurants being shut down, there was a huge drop off in supply and demand for food in general especially before the delivery thing started kicking in, where that really became a tide. But even still, they were not sitting there going, okay, I got a bunch of people in here, I got to start cooking. Turkey burgers take extra time. Let me know who might want one. Blah blah blah. And then they decide against it, and you have to throw it out because you already put it on the thing. Blah blah blah. Those kind of things, those kind of elements in the restaurant industry are very wasteful. Especially if they've got to prepare large, pans and pots of food, and then it doesn't sell, right? That you just toss it out. Whereas the food stays in its pre-prepared form at the grocery store. So the extra that the industry creates wasn't going anywhere. Biden's highest poll right now has him at 33%. Most, Laura, look it up yourself. Yeah, we did, James. It's not our fault. You're dumb. Fox has him at 47%. That's the lowest one. That's Quinnipiac. Stop huffing Trump farts. Have a nice day. So he's coming in a bunch of time. It's all right. And anyway, so over the course of this, wholesale, we plowed a bunch of stuff under. They were culling herds. There's all kinds of reasons why nothing was getting made. So all the commodities were going through the toilet. Right? Oh, thanks. I'm on a 65-inch. I feel like I have so much room. If only I had a green screen long enough for my arms. That'd be great. One day, thank you, patrons. We'll get there at some point. All right. So the important thing, though, in this is that now that, like restaurants and grocery stores are coming back, usage, and it's been tug and pull because of Delta and Omicron, but it's basically starting to inch its way back. The difference, and again, wholesale prices did not jump 10% from 2019. They jumped 10% from the bottom in 2020. And this is it. Okay, here we go. For all of 2021, 9/7 gain was the biggest on record in data going back to 2010. Weekless job claims added a total 230, as well as above the estimate, though a 4-week average as filings hits the lowest since 1973. So more people are working. They've got money to spend. The bond yields are going up. This is fucking with their whole narrative. And it's funny that he's hitting this story, the PPI story, because in December, it was lower than they expected it because things are starting to normalize. And you're also starting to get out of the window of overlap with the worst of the disease. So once we start being year over year for, say, February or March, that will be February or March from 2021 when things were on an arc. And even if they're going up, the percentage will narrow. And the problem with over-exaggerating the 7% difference or the 10% difference, in this case, 21 to 2020, without acknowledging the complete fuckery of COVID and the impact it was having on supply chains and all this other stuff, is that it artificially creates a percentage rise, right? Because there's no baseline. It's just like stocks. My stocks are up yesterday. They're up 100 points. Today they're down 2. But if you look at it, it's fucking arrow, right? Red arrow because it went down today from where it was. But it's up from the day before and the day before that and the day before that, but it's down today. So it just, if you're making this, oh no, it's down, I'm selling it. Like, what are you talking about? You're making money on it. Yeah, but it was, all right. So in this case, if you have an exaggerated 7 or 10% in this case from 2020, when you get back to a normal year, it will artificially squeeze it to make that percentage even smaller. So what they're doing is they're talking themselves out of one bizarre talking point based at nothing and talking themselves into one that will muck up their narrative earlier than they maybe could hang on to it if they had any brains at all. I love all I kind of knew my name for the show today would trigger some of the trolls because they're trying to pretend Quinnipiac is the be-all, end-all. When even Rasmussen, the Trump-loving one, has him at 45, which is a point higher than Trump ever got. Fox has him at 47% right now. Just saying. Fox does. Fox. You know Fox? I don't know if you know Fox. We have a clip from Fox. We'll see this, but we'll go to Newsmax first. Here's Grant Stankfield, and this is the brilliant minds either at Newsmax reading into what Dick Morris is saying, or the fucking Dick Morris is the single dumbest son of a bitch in the world. We can't have a taper. We just got to destroy the economy. Look at that. Dick Morris. The only cure for inflation is recession. What? I don't know. Fox used to be on cable or something, I think. Yeah, Dick Morris, is he still around? No, he's on Newsmax.
And remember, businesses can't always charge more when this happens. So now many of them are simply making less. That always spells trouble on the horizon. Add this to inflation.
Add this to footage we took months ago.
And only now is the fake news media.
Add it to footage we used from the beginning of the pandemic when everybody was hoarding toilet paper. Dude, you can't even run out and get any more B-roll?
Issuing you the warning that I warned about nearly a year ago.
Uh-huh.
We're going to pay more for everything because of the grains that feed the cows, the packaging where we put the soda in. I mean, just about everything is...
The packaging where we put the soda in. I'm sorry, slow down. I don't understand all this economic mumbo-jumbo.
Going through the roof.
Well, you know NBC hates hearing that. But here's the reality. All of it is hurting people.
Oh.
It is bringing a lot of unnecessary stress, and it's already a struggle, especially living paycheck to paycheck. I can go with no meal a day, but I want to make sure that my kids at least have, food.
I'm not going to take my medicine like I'm supposed to, so I can at least have food on the table for my family. And it shouldn't be like that.
Just to get through a week, that's like $300. Prices just went through the roof.
May I remind...
How many people are in her family that she's spending $300 a week on groceries? That's enormous. Honestly. Now, granted, Stanchfield, took pieces of a clip and cut it even more so that it's more exaggerated. So there you go.
All of you, it was not like that under President Trump.
We were just all inside, not working at all, hiding from a disease that he scuttled the pandemic response team for and also ignored for 4 months.
This week, we also learned that inflation is up 7% this year. 7%.
Oh my God. Based on what? Oh, 2020. Gee, I wonder how industry was going and how things were selling in 2020. All right. Yeah, I spend about 150, 200 in groceries a month. It's about 50 some odd bucks a week. We have 4 people in the house.
Highest since June of 1982.
Yes, and the famed pandemic of 1981 that it's just monetary policy.
So will we face another recession like we did back in 2008? That's the one I remember most.
Yeah, we're totally. We didn't have a pandemic that still got the world by the balls in a lot of places and is fucking with supply chains. It was credit default swaps. That's what it was. While we were all hiding behind masks and waiting for a vaccine, the trick was all the credit default swaps came back. You remember? Yeah, I'm glad. They were eating steaks every day. Very possible. Gorilla in the mist. This fucker's gonna really go with 2008. Was 2008 based on consumer sentiment? Was it based on wages increase? Was it too much government stimulus that caused the recession of 2008? Does anybody remember?
Joining me now is host of Dick Morris Democracy here on Newsmax and former advisor to Presidents Clinton and Trump. Dick Morris is here. So, Dick, recession, yes or...
Yes, the captain of the broken clock committee, apparently. I got one job and then I'll have another job. It is the greatest thing ever. Isn't it true?
Yeah, and 2008 will be a piker compared to what we're going to get.
Oh.
Look, just understand the...
Bullshit. Based on what? Okay. All right. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. We're going to turn into Venezuela by March. It's going to be 27% inflation.
Truths of it. The reason that you have inflation is there's too much money out there.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's too much money out there. It's not because fuel prices went up, so transporting goods actually went up. It's not because people have extra money and they're investing not in eggs, but in a new used car. It's a new-to-you car. It's not that shit, which is artificially jacking the number up because inflation is 5.5% year over year if you take out gas and used cars. It's like 6, 7 if you take out just used cars. How many of you have made an omelet with 3 used cars?
Feds have printed $6 trillion in one.
Oh, did they? They printed $6 trillion? Did they? Is that how they just printed it? They didn't buy treasuries and balance the markets and offer loans and grants, and some of which were paid back, like in 2008, where the Fed made money on the deal. People know that, right? Like, we haven't, did that just fall down the fucking memory hole? Jesus Christ. Hold on. They printed all this money. What happened? Oh, it's going to be like 2008. Vast majority of, yeah. No, I am not, Foggy. I'm making fun of his assertion that those people are exemplary and we don't have systems for those folks, or that this is the direct, that Biden's monetary policies, or magically the rescue package is the problem, not the money put in under Trump, which was the vast majority of it. But anyways, even that still, this is effectively what happens when you do a cash bailout for the people instead of bailing out banks. And I got news for you. They're going to make money on this deal too. The Fed is ultimately going to make money on this because people are going to buy a used car and they don't have enough money to buy it outright because they didn't get that much money from the government. But because they were getting a child tax credit and they got $2,000 and it wasn't means tested, it was for everybody. A bunch of people went, all right, my car is a little long in the tooth. I can get a new car, which is a lot, or I could just buy a better used car. And that's what's happened over the last year. He is using these people as a whipping post. And 2008 looks like a piker, does it? First of all, Dick Morris's friends and the owner of Newsmax no doubt made millions of dollars in the aftermath of 2008. There were lots of billionaires made after that by people who bought the dip and waited it out, knew it wasn't the entire economy that was fucked, right? They knew the basics were stable. It was this credit default swap artificially yanked the bottom out, and a bunch of people were patching the holes in their economic circumstance with money that they had in stocks. So they took that money out and like, shit, I got bills to pay. It was coming from like rental properties or these loans that I was betting on, and they fell apart and right? So they took it out of the stock market. That's the same fear that they've had about the Saudis. We've talked about that before. And they knew we'd fix it. And we did. And again, there is no Tesla, no SpaceX without the Obama bailout. There isn't. They don't exist. They fade into the memory hole. You would have never even, somebody going like, Elon who? All right. The U.S. economy has come a long way since the low point of the financial crisis of 2009. The stock market is now within a stone's throw of all-time highs, and unemployment is less than 5%. The idea that the entire financial system was on the brink of collapse less than a decade ago sometimes feels like simply a bad dream. Many people are resentful of the idea that the government would step in and bail out billion-dollar corporations. That same government would never step in and directly fund struggling families in times of crisis. By the way, that's exactly what we fucking did. And that's exactly what happened. Yeah. So, and am I spiking a little bit? Let me bring the audio seems a little, maybe that's what it is. It's hot. Okay, bringing it down a touch. Hopefully it doesn't, when I get loud, sometimes I'll mess with it. There we go. Check. Is that better? Okay. In total, 11 companies received at least $10 billion in bailouts from government funding during the financial crisis. However, the government wasn't simply lending money to these companies, it was investing in them by taking ownership stakes. In most cases, the government was essentially buying shares of stock, much like ordinary investors do with their trading accounts. We bought the government made money on it and then sold the stocks back out into the open market. They did not retain control. They simply shored them up. The sound on Twitch is terrible? That's terrible. Oh no. What is happening? I'm probably being attacked by the Russians for talking shit about them all day. All right. So anyways, let's hear the piker. Okay.
Year. In the previous 10 years combined, they printed another $6 trillion. So that 12 trillion is sloshing around out there.
Bullshit. You know, first of all, they don't fucking print money like that. It's a childish, infantile, venomous way of looking at the fucking economy. Most of it is put out there in digital form, and then, and you know, in the form of treasuries and bonds and securities and that kind of shit. And then they buy stuff back and yada. Like it never enters the market. The difference between that and this is happening worldwide. We're not the only country doing it. Is that people, consumers, needed the funds available to them to continue to. They were getting a salary essentially temporarily to patch this. Temporarily is the point. And the only difference was when you give it to people, that trillions of dollars is sloshing around because it's actually in people's hands. The difference is that most of them aren't fucking shedding it. They're keeping it. They're sitting on it. Banks are lending based on more savings accounts being full than any time in the last, 25 fucking years? Oh, God, this is so fucking childish.
Driving up prices because everybody wants to buy stuff.
Is that what? Oh, fucking people wanting to buy stuff. The bastards. And also because oil is going back up again because people are traveling and moving around, and gas and oil companies, not necessarily the most patriotic companies in the world, curiously, for his like, that's our oil, that's American oil. And yet, you know, fuck you, buy it on the market like everybody else. They seem to be trying to make up for all their lost profits. Duh.
The only way to stop the inflation is to stop people from spending that much money. And the only way to do that is to raise interest rates. So you can't.
That's not what stops people from spending the money. That's what stops banks from loaning it out. Big corporations borrow lots of money in certain situations. And when you raise interest rates, the banks are less likely to lend it out because it's not cheap. It costs them more to loan it out. So they slow the money into bigger coffers. That's nothing like what's going on right now. Oh, hey, Drew. Nice. Does that make sense? There's a huge difference between direct consumer incentive spending and large corporations taking it out, like Wells Fargo and stuff like that.
A car loan because it's too high. You can't get a mortgage because the rates are too high. You leave your credit card in the.
Too high. Interest rates are too high. Right now. Oh, God. All right, hold on one second. Couple of things. I have to blow this back up. Let's see. This is the current list. There's that Quinnipiac you Trump guzzlers are big fans of. Here's 44%. This is the highest Trump ever got. Ouch. Here's the Fox News poll. Ooh, that's rough. 3 points up over Trump's high. Ouch. Et tu, Fox A? So yes, that's all in there. Now, let's see. Interest rates. Should we take a look at interest rates? Let's see. There's mortgage rates. Let's see. Today's rates. Let's see. I need a. Let's see. I'll go. What? 2000 to 2021. Let's see a chart. That's the wrong one. Hold on. Interest rate in U.S. Okay, that's the Fed rate. I want like something more. Here you go. Historic mortgage rates. Yeah, we'll go 1970s to 2021. Let's see. Get out of here. Let's see what this guy is here. Thanks for Freddie Mac. Solid data available. 30-year fixed rate mortgage beginning in 71. 71, they were in the mid 7% range, moved up to 9.19% in 1974, mid to 8 before climbing to 11% in 79. 80s, OPEC, blah, 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 16%. They finished the decade around 10%. The 80s were an expensive time to borrow money. 90s, 10, then it slowly fell. 7, 6.9, 2000s. Mortgage rates steadily declined 8% in 2000 to the high 5 range in 2003. And then they cut interest rates, made it even cheaper, 2010s. You go 20 to 21. Let's see. Yeah, right now we're at 3.7% in, yeah, here we go. 30-year fixed was 3.7 in 2019. Then in COVID-19 hit the states. In response, Federal Reserve dropped the federal funds rate between 0 and 0.25%. This caused other short-term and long-term rates to drop. The move was seen to encourage borrowing on home loans as well as other loans, including, hey, used car loans. Not going to get a full one, but you can borrow the money on a personal loan, which is how Wells Fargo, for example, does car loans. They don't do auto loans. They do personal loans with the car as collateral. Most banks do it that way. Consumer banks, anyways. By December, Freddie Mac reported an average mortgage rate for 30-year at 2.68. June rate increased to 2.98. Let's see. As of October 21, Freddie Mac reported an average mortgage rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 3%. Full on fucking, what, half of what it was in, where we'll pick a point. Well, let's go to, yeah. But basically, about half of what it was in 2007. So, yeah.
Because the interest is too high. That was the solution we had.
Yeah, that's why people aren't buying Mickey Mouse toys. It's just the loans are too expensive, and it's not that you can't get the money. It's just that that it depreciates as soon as you drive it off the lot. That Mickey car. No resale.
1980, 81, and 82.
By the way, notice how none of this footage is time stamped or date stamped. Because it's from the beginning of the fucking 2020 shutdown.
They raised interest rates up to 20% and all credit.
And they keep showing it again and again. Also, if you're going to say to me that the cupboards are bare and everything is fucked up, 0.25% is too high? Yeah, no. Yeah, these pics are over a year old, and they're the same pictures over and over. Again, why would you have to repeat a single frame of any of this shit? One single frame. Why? If it's that bad, fuck, you don't have a bunch of Newsmax viewers walking around giving you B-roll everywhere?
Stop society. And when that stopped, people stopped buying things, the economy fell apart, and we had close to 20% unemployment.
Yeah, but that wasn't based on we weren't coming out of a pandemic, dum-dum. And also, it was before, wait, hold on. Let me make sure we're not, because I was overlapping a little bit. I want to make sure I wasn't, which was he referencing?
81 and 82.
Yeah, 81 and 82. Before cell phones, home computers, broadband, telehealth, home, learning from home, fucking before you could get a college degree from ASU digitally. Yeah, why don't we just go back to the Great Depression? Why don't we talk about the Dust Bowl? Isn't this the Dust Bowl of shampoo?
Raised interest rates up to 20% and all credit stopped society.
Yes, and nobody's suggesting that. Homes are at 3%, the borrowing rate is 0.25%, and this fucker's going, they're going to turn it up to 25%. Jesus Christ.
And when that stopped, people stopped buying things, the economy fell apart, and we
really?
had close to 20% unemployment. And that is the future
Well-
we're headed toward. Because it's like when you have inflation because of excess
Now, oh, there you go. Here's more current photos.
money out there. It's like you have high blood pressure. And the only cure for the high blood pressure is a heart attack.
Jesus Christ. Oh, fuck. Where'd you go to medical school? Rogan University? What the hell is this? This is what they're talking about, by the way. Like, this is what passes for news on Newsmax.
Oh, that's the last thing this country needs right now is a heart attack. Look, you push interest rates to 20%. Anybody that owns a house knows you only have so much money you can pay. You're either going to...
Dude, nobody's pushing interest rates to 20 fucking percent. They're talking about a taper of like a quarter of a point at like over 3 different intervals over the next year. The fuck is he talking about? 20%? Hell, please do. What the fuck is this? Come on. I don't know much about math, but I can put number 2 and number 2 together. You're bullshit.
spend it in interest, or you're going to spend it in principal. The real estate market...
Dude, if you go from 3% to 20%, the bank just fucking calls you and says that we're just going into Mad Max, dum-dum. Who the fuck thinks we're going to 20%? Who does he think is fucking in charge? And by the way, didn't Trump put Powell in? So he thinks his Fed chairman are the best people, right? Yes, Bobcat is still around. He directs Kimmel. Hal tried checking your credit cards, 21, 24%. No, that's first of all, credit cards and mortgages and car loans are totally different things. And credit cards only have that on a rolling balance. The idea is that because, and the reason they keep those high is because most people pay them off every month. Or only roll over, smaller ones or stack them for later. Yeah, I know it's more than 20% for poor people because they're more likely to default. That's how credit works. But that's not indicative of the rate he's talking about. The Fed is not taking the 0.25 borrowing rate and from fucking 0.25 to 20%. What kind of lunacy?
collapse as we know it if interest rates...
Yes, that's true. If the head of the DOD decides to check our nuclear arsenal by tapping on the top of all the missiles with a ball-peen hammer, yes, I think that would be bad. It would be devastating. It would make Hiroshima look like a piker. And I don't even know what the fucking point he's making is. If we do something, it's like, if you go into the hospital and all you've got is a headache and they decide to treat you with a shotgun blast, I mean, that's not good. Well, yeah, but who the fuck is suggesting? Is that what the Kool-Aid at Newsmax is? It's so bad. They drink so much of it that they can't perceive of even just like normalcy. They can't fight on the battlefield that's real. They just have to fucking make this up. Honest to God.
Go that high.
With the car market, so with all kinds of consumer things, because we wouldn't be able to use credit.
Yes. Which is why no one's suggesting this. Again, I don't know what the fuck the point is.
Cards, really, because the rates would be too high. And this is a deliberate policy.
Jesus, dude. You can't make this argument and show that the houses are selling. Look at this. Under contract. That means there's multiple bidders for this fucking house. And if it falls through, they've got somebody waiting in the wings. You find one that says for sale. You fucking can't. Oh my God. This is so dumb. Yay. Nice little wing.
Only way to stop inflation. Bleed the patient to death so the blood pressure comes.
By the way, now selling home towards this is all new property. These are all brand new homes. This is a this is one of those like developments with loads of fucking houses, and they're having open houses and they're selling fucking hand over fist. This is so stupid.
Down. And we went.
Look at it. Yeah, waterfront. Yeah, and the houses are selling so quickly that they're putting features about them that big money sellers might look for. All those poor people who are expecting to buy waterfront property. Fucking hell.
Through that in 80, 81, and 82. To avoid.
Jesus Christ. You cannot compare 81 and 82 to anything that's going on right now because there was no fucking pandemic, dum-dum. If you got economic numbers from 1919 to 2022, let's fucking hear it, dum-dum.
You have a delicate balancing act of enough stimulus, but not too much. William Chesney Martin, the former head of the Fed, said, take away the punch bowl when the party gets started. And you have to get exactly balanced.
Yeah, that's how we've been looking at it. Everybody out here, all the people who've been fighting to keep their jobs and hoping they come back, especially in the service industry and the restaurant industry, and people who perform live like myself who are trying to get back out on the road and stuff. It's just a big fucking party out here. Everywhere you go, there's just shows and packed houses. People are totally comfortable going back out and eating in packed restaurants and all that shit. And Delta and Omicron didn't fuck that into a cocked hat again and again. We've been out of it for months. What in the... Oh, God. And this is hilarious. This is a hilarious analogy. Take away the punch bowl. Fucking 82 was about coked up Wall Street doing speculation in junk bonds.
And Trump had it balanced. Now they've totally screwed it up.
How did he have it fucking balanced? Oh, right. He was killing off a big section of the working class, largely poor people with comorbidities who either cost the government money or have to have 2 or 3 jobs to stay alive. You could do without those people. And at least look at all the job openings. He had it stable. Yeah, nothing stabilizes an economy like no one going anywhere or doing anything. Stable.
Pumping $6 trillion into the economy.
Let me play this clip from you because this is about real people. This is a woman named Sherry, what she had to say, what she's going through.
We have nothing. Can't find the things I want. Can't find the regular things I was able to find before. Like I live in a foreign country. Like I, live in the Soviet Union and we are having everything rationed out.
Yeah. Newsmax viewer, I will say, what? Can't find the things I want. Can't, fucking hell. We are coming out of a pandemic, right? You recognize that. That some of the shit you take for granted that you get all the time, like blueberries in the fucking winter, aren't grown locally. I do notice she found hair dye, though. It's one of the Trump base coats.
That's certainly what it feels like. So, Dick, the big question...
It totally feels like we're in the Soviet Union. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, doesn't it feel like that to you? I mean, find someone who lived through that. Ask them if that's what this is like. Jesus Christ. Yeah, there's only 20 flavors of ice cream.
Becomes, is there a way to save this, even though we've got 3 more years of Joe Biden in office?
Yes. Yeah. Dick, tell us, in your infinite wisdom, what are you going to suggest? Let me guess. It has something to do with the shit the adults are already doing and not doing insane things like you suggested.
Can this be saved?
No, can't be. Once Biden did this for a year, the only cure for inflation is a recession. And they'll dress it up with all kinds of stuff and say, price controls and wage controls. But that's baloney. The fact is the only cure to this level of recession, of inflation, is a recession.
No, it isn't. Because you're talking about year over year based on an artificial drop. And again, this is what happens. This is what, when people warn you about old people with old solutions and all that kind of shit, this is kind of what they're talking about. Because he wants to cure, a heart attack with like techniques and medicines from 1960. Yeah, just burn it down. What the fuck? Why even try? Yeah. So the idea is that 7% year over year, which was caused directly by an artificial cave of gas prices. Again, nobody was buying a car. Nobody was driving anywhere. So inflation has got an extra 2% on top of it. Within the realm of reality, 5.5%, 5.6%, which is up certainly from the 2% you want, but not that weird considering a pandemic, considering supply chain issues and all kinds of other stuff, and the fact that people have more money to spend and they're spending it broader on bigger ticket items. But the 7% year over year is not equal to the true measure of economic costs from, say, the cost of something in 2019. We've looked at this a bunch of times. Gas is fucking down over $1 from 2014. They're like literally paying no attention to the circumstance that we've actually been in. But let's just say you listen to this asshole. What you would do is overcorrect and cause massive deflationary pressure on the economy. He's advocating for it. And we'll put a pin in this. I think it'd be good. Let's say June. Let's revisit this Dick Morris clip, shall we? Because they're going to start the taper. It's going to tick down a little bit. Investment rates will go up. So some people pull their money out of the stock market and go, I'll put some of it in a bond because the bond yield went up a little bit or went into a place where I feel like it'll balance out against what I could make in the stock market and avoid some volatility, right? Does that take any money out of the system? Does it deflate the system? No, it just fucking shuffles it around for, because you can take some out in safety. Yeah. America first. No, Joe Biden, according to Fox News, Biden is at 47. Quinnipiac is the lowest of all the polls and is an outlier. But, hey, good luck. Go sell that to your friends. And by the way, I don't know that you're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide, and I think that shows taste and breeding on your part as a viewer. You got a lot of choices. I appreciate you being here. And I'd also like to say that we, like a lot of unlike a lot of other shows, we welcome the trolls because the trolls are part of our growth scheme. It is really what has helped us grow faster than most other shows. Is that while I'm sorry to say, we don't take you seriously and we don't give a fuck what you say. And none of my chat gets upset, really. I know that's what you're trying to do. And I know you want people to get all like riled up. It just doesn't work. But every word you type tells the algorithm that I'm interesting. Every word you type in tells the algorithm this guy's engaging and raises my CPM. So thank you so much for being here, especially if you're on Facebook or YouTube in particular, because you guys are sort of our free ride in the algorithm. Twitch is a little more complicated, but in particular, especially on Facebook, but definitely on YouTube as well, you guys boost us out. And now everything, like when you watch other stuff, you watch, when you're fapping to Alex Jones and Ben Shapiro and stuff like that, or rewinding and watching old young Dick Morris videos. I see you. When the people who watch this also watch this line shows up in people's YouTube who also watch that, I show up in there too. Because of you. And it's something that my regular viewers can't do. They can't because they don't watch that shit. As a matter of fact, they watch me so they don't have to. So yeah, it's pretty spectacular. So there you go. I just thought thank you for helping us take the reins of the AI gods, of the algorithm, grab it by the bit and tell it to go where we want. And we appreciate you guys flailing around and trying to pretend that this number is the most important one. Don't pay attention to any of these because they are as good or better than Trump's numbers ever got. But I saw the news say this was the thing. But the news told me that my hero, the Trump, is so good. He's so good. He's a man that's a day. He's the best person in the whole world. Hold on. I should probably do this proper. Although I don't know that this is a misuse in some ways. This is the whole. Here go. Hold on. This is the. Wait. There we go. There we go. That's the whole thing right there. Trump did all the other number are bigger than Trump, but this one smaller than Trump, so it's a good number. Oh, Trump is a boy. Trump is a man. He's still Mr. Strong in Pants. He wears a diaper just like me. So. Sorry. It just needed to be done. All right, here we go. Let's go back to, by the way, this episode of Dick Morris is brought to you by all the trolls who apparently think this man is brilliant and think that Stanchfield knows what he's talking about. It's so good.
Now, if you were like Trump and you never let the inflation take hold in the first place, you...
It never let it take hold. The supply took a shit. And one of the best ways to stop inflation is stop people from buying things. By the way, it was basically a one-man recession. Oh, by the way, did I mention that the U.S. entered a recession in February of 2020 before shutdown?
He's on right through. But Biden has absolutely doomed, not just this year, but the next three.
What the fuck was that?
But Biden has absolutely doomed, not just this.
Oh, they edited something. What the fuck did you cut out that he said, Newsmax? Because this is their clip. This is their network. This is their channel. Anybody? What the fuck was that? What did he say that they were like, okay, that's just too stupid? What could he have possibly said that's dumber than what he's been saying?
Year, but the next 3 years of recession. He's smart. He'll get out of there.
Yeah, get out of there. What do you mean? Get out of where? He should quit because rather than deal with the recession. You know, because that's what Trump would have done. Bail out. What? Oh, thank you, Michael. Thank you so much. And a 999 because we passed the 666 number a while back. There you go. Thank you so much. And thanks for subscribing, Merber 2000 for resubscribing on there. And did we hand out did the shirt go out? Or the mug go out? Let's see. Hold on. Start again. Where'd it go? Reload. Giveaways. Why is this being weird? There you go. How does it not reload? Oh, there it is. Let's see. Time is out. So let's pick a winner for the mug right now. I'm clicking the thing and it's all set. Auntie Sarah, congratulations. You're the winner. You should get a little link thing, and it'll tell you how to get the thing because that's out of my hands. It's handled internally in the software and all that stuff. So Auntie Sarah is our winner for the mug. Yay! You can just post a picture if you would at some point. Yay, Auntie Sarah! Congratulations. Okay, and now we return to the poetic stylings of Dick Morris. The aptly named.
Look, the bottom line is free markets always work. Biden wanted to control every market. Then you talk about solutions being wage controls and price controls. That's the furthest thing you get.
And first of all, dumb fuck, Biden's not suggesting that. Morris is. And secondly, what the fuck do you mean he meant to control everything? How are we price controlling shit? You can't accuse him of dumping too much money in there and not doing price controls during the process. And then say he's, oh God, this is so dumb.
Free markets, which will just make matters worse. So I fear, as always, you're probably right on this one, Dick Morris. So we'll brace.
Why? What? Based on what? I'm sorry. What has Dick Morris called that was like, oh, zinger?
Selves. Buddy, it's always good to see you. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
All right. Fucking gibberish. Congratulations, Newsmax. We're all slightly dumber from having listened to you. I would like to, just as a recap, nothing was said Dick Morris talked out of his ass, and Stanchfield smoked whatever came out. Nonsense. Front to back, gibberish, anti-intellectual bullshit that even the most fascinating thing I think is directly contradicts Newsmax's beliefs economically anyways. This is like, honestly, the narrative out of Newsmax primarily is America is a shithole country that's always on the precipice of falling into a hole, and only magic people like Donald Trump can salvage our shithole country from the voter. That's the premise. It's just, it has nothing to do with America first. It's America sucks. And without Trump, all those wins America has had over the years, all the things we've done, the fact that our fucking economy has doubled, more than doubled since 2000 in GDP, without accruing, 200% debt. We're at like, what, 89% of GDP for our national debt, which is nothing.